Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, or good morning. It might still be in Halifax, I think, in Halifax, Nova Scotia, where my good friend Michelle Bourgeoise is on the other end of this line. Good morning, good afternoon, Michelle.
Good after. I'm going to say good afternoon because I just heard the noon gun cannon go off at Citadel Hill, so it's technically afternoon here too.
Oh, that's good. We're all in afternoon mode then. That's very good. Michelle, Discover Halifax. You've obviously been working in destination marketing for some time. What is it particularly about Discover Halifax that you find so engaging?
I think just the that they actually pay me to be able to share my love and passion for Halifax with potential visitors and with the folks that help bring those visitors here. And the other side of that is also people related, and that we have a fabulous industry here that I get to work with on a daily basis. So we have a very tight knit tourism industry within Halifax and Nova Scotia, and actually throughout Atlantic Canada. So getting to work with them, that makes it all worthwhile as well.
That's excellent. And if I was to come to Halifax, what are the must-do things? What would you be disappointed about if I didn't do it?
Well, I would say that the very first thing that comes to mind would be that you would have to explore the waterfront boardwalk. And so the downtown, so we're of course located on Halifax Harbor, and we have a boardwalk that runs the entire length of the downtown. It's about 4 kilometers long. And along that boardwalk, you will find tons of restaurants and shops, some of our signature attractions. You'll find everything from playgrounds to beer gardens to also being the place where if you wanted to do harbor tours or do activities like rent bikes or segways or sea-doos or sea kayaks, all of those things are all along that boardwalk. Or if you want to do absolutely nothing and just sit and watch the world go by and watch the harbor traffic go by, they've built in loads of places for people just to sit and relax. And so the waterfront would be a definite to explore that boardwalk, and that would keep you busy for several days just to do that. I'd be really disappointed if you didn't get out and enjoy some of our fabulous restaurants. For a city our size, we're really blessed with some fabulous restaurants, and of course, the seafood. So that is plentiful everywhere you go, but they definitely get out and enjoy that. And I'd say if I was trying to limit it to top three, I'd say the third thing would definitely be to get out and enjoy the seacoast. And so beyond just the downtown core, are areas where places like iconic Peggy's Cove, or perhaps going to go ahead to the beaches along the eastern shore, do some coastal hiking along the Salt Marsh Trail. So just to get out and enjoy that seacoast, that would be the other thing that I think you definitely need to do.
You mentioned seafood. Food is obviously a key factor in modern day tourism. Wherever you go, there must be 7,000 culinary capitals of the world. But I'm sure Halifax is the culinary capital of your region in terms of seafood. How would you best serve the seafood, and what sort of seafood would it be?
Well, pretty much lots of I think the thing that probably people jumps to the forefront for a lot of people is they associate East Coast and lobster, and but everything from salmon and scallops and mussels and oysters and tons of seafood. And the great thing here, wherever you go, whether you go from fine dining to the most casual of spots, perhaps as a takeout option, you're going to find really high quality, delicious seafood in all different forms in terms of where you may go. And it's found in many dishes. So, a lot of people will come here, they want to have that traditional maritime lobster dinner, but you can also go and have lobster rolls or lobster tacos, or so it's in a lot of our dishes, but it's not all just seafood. We have a huge movement in terms of local farm to table, and so We're also very fortunate that we have fresh, local, indigenous ingredients and very innovative chefs. So even if you're not a seafood lover, you're going to find great options. We're also very fortunate to have a lot of distilleries and cider producers, and we're also on the doorstep of Nova Scotia's winery region. So culinary is very important to any visitor, and so I think you'll find something to suit every taste when you come here.
Marvelous. Well, Halifax is obviously the centre of a lot of things in the region. It's often described as, like the hub, and the spokes come out of Halifax. When I come, would I need to rent a car, or are there other forms of transport that I could use?
Technically, you wouldn't have to. So depending upon the type of visit that you're going to do. So if you were coming and planning to stay multiple days, say just in Halifax, you wouldn't necessarily have to have a vehicle. One of the great things about the downtown part is that it's very compact, it's very walkable, there's tons of things to see and do in an immediate area. There's also options where you could take day tours out of Halifax and into surrounding areas, whether you may want to go to Peggy's Cove or go to the winery region. So that you could even come spend some time and as a launching pad to a multi-day escorted program here. So you don't have to get a rental car. But having said that, I would say for most, especially our international visitors, would tend to be probably doing a fly drive, because they were probably coming to Halifax perhaps for a few days and then maybe going on to explore other parts of Nova Scotia and Atlantic Canada. And so in that case, a rental car is a great option. So that's probably how most folks are coming to experience, but you don't have to do it that way, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
So most of the itineraries relating to Halifax and Atlantic Canada in general would be get into Halifax. I know it's very quick and very relatively cheap to fly from the UK and from Europe into Halifax. But is it spend a couple of nights there, go touring, and then come back and spend a couple more nights before you go home?
That's quite often. I tell people that you would want to spend, 2 to 3 nights bare minimum in Halifax, and so that's quite often what will happen on itineraries. Whether it is a fly drive and people are doing their own independent thing, or whether even on an escorted program. So quite often, because Halifax tends to be the gateway, particular coming into Atlantic Canada. So you would arrive, so you've got that arrival day, and you're right, coming out of the UK, it's a pretty, quick, easy flight to get over here. You want to spend another night or two to be able to explore Halifax. Some folks may then, if they are going on to do other parts of Nova Scotia and Atlantic Canada, may also perhaps do a night or two at the end as well. And so that is kind of a common way to do that. So
Cool.
Works great.
Very good. Well, it all sounds exciting and enticing. Final question. Describe Halifax in 3 words.
Ooh, so many possibilities, but I would say probably the word that jumps to the forefront is vibrant. It's a very vibrant destination. I would also say authentic is another way I would describe it, and diverse. And the reason I say diverse can apply in a number of ways, but probably the one that I really want people to understand is the diversity in terms of Halifax is a blend of both urban and rural. When we talk about Halifax, a lot of people think, if they have a little bit of familiarity, they probably think of the urban part and they think about downtown. But actually the region of Halifax covers an area that's about 5,500 square kilometers, and 150 kilometers of coastline, with 9 distinct areas within that region. So downtown Halifax is just one part of that story, whereas you have other parts. So it really is that mix of urban and rural and that seacoast. And so there's a lot of diversity of product and experiences just within the Halifax region. So when I talk about diversity, that's kind of a big one that, and the other part I think that's really important in talking about that is that it's not only a great mix of urban and rural, but it's how easily you can transition from one to the other. So you can be enjoying a beautiful meal on a patio on the waterfront in downtown. 15 to 20 minutes from there, you could be actually lying on the beach, outside, or you could be on a coastal hiking trail in a matter of minutes. So it's how easily you transition from one to the other.
Very good. So vibrant, authentic, diverse. Very good. Thank you very much for your time, Michelle. And I hope it's not too long before I can see you in Halifax so I can discover Halifax.
That would be fantastic. Thanks so much.
Cheers. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.